Hey everyone, this is Chris, creator of WarpMind Ascendant. This is a customer embedded analytics platform using Power BI and SQL Server, or Azure SQL in the cloud. And what's also really great about this is if you're someone that's just using Power BI, this is going to work for you as well. There's a lot of really great enhancements and additions, outside of what Power BI, in and of itself offers. So excited to kind of walk through and run through the demo with you. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to cover today. All right, here's what we're going to take a look at today. We're going to cover the KPI homepage, Power BI cloning and editing reports. We're going to also see how we can make saved views from those reports, as well as add threads and comments and incorporate the saved views into those. We'll see how bell notifications can take us directly to follow-up items, whether those are comments or reports or exports. We'll also take a look for those of you that are using SQL, how we can build dynamic reports off of that and schedule and run those as well. And then last but not least, we'll take just a quick highlight of the usage analytics. All right, so let's go ahead and at first we'll take a look at the KPI homepage. Okay, here we are on our KPI homepage. The reason for having this just in general is this is really for everybody, especially executives, where you kind of want to come in and have that story of your business that you're looking for and have it readily available. So this is a screen that we've already got pre-configured, but let's say that we wanted to change this. We're just going to go over to Customize, and that's going to bring open our Customize home page. We can group our KPIs by domains. Again, this is all fully customizable. So we've got our domains, our categories within those domains. So if we just wanted to look at, like, say, FinTech, we can see the categories within that. We've got our KPI selection up top. So these are those four visuals that we see as the numbers, the prior month, prior year. We can look at the trends. That's going to be our visuals at the bottom. So if we want to kind of change these around, we can kind of clear some of these out. Let's say we wanted to see our average transaction size, and maybe we're kind of curious about total charges. And then let's go look at our trends. Maybe we don't want to see orders by region, so let's clear that out. And we'll go ahead and put in our encounters by month. We can see that's under healthcare. We can also search for the KPIs and trends up here. So if we just wanted to see those encounters, we can type that in and get to that particular KPI or trend. And then once we've got it dialed in, let's just go ahead and save it. Okay, and we can see that our saved KPIs and trends are now shown on our page here, and this is now saved. So the next time that we log in, this is going to be ready to go for us. It's going to kind of let us know how are we looking versus the prior month and the prior year. And if we ever wanted to modify this to kind of understand better historically what something was at, let's say, a point in time, then we can just come in here and say, I want to know what these KPIs were as of the date that we would select here. There's some other small things that we can do as well. If we wanted to modify this to be year to date, maybe add some additional labels on some of these so we can see what those numbers look like. And there we go. The last thing that we can do on this page is export this to CSV if for some reason we wanted to take these metrics with us and share them with someone else. All right. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at reports. Okay, here we are on our reports tab. So a couple of navigation things that we can do at a high level. So one, if we want to look at our Power BI reports, we can just select interactive, and that's going to filter the list down for us. Same concept, right? If we want to do it for our SQL reports, we'll just select dynamic, and that we'll look at these in just a little bit. But for now, we want to focus on our Power BI reports. If there's a particular report that we want to favorite, we can do that just by selecting the star, and we can view those favorites or view all reports. So just a few basic navigation things that we've got here. So let's go ahead and we'll unfavorite that one, and let's dive into our FinTech report. Okay, so if you're an admin or an editor, you're going to have permissions to clone reports, which is a great way to, really extend the Power BI model and create new views that, you or your customers might be looking for. So we can see now that we've, opened up the Power BI report. We can see the title, the description up top here. You can see some, additional buttons like clone, threads, views. We've got the different Power BI report tabs over here. That we can cycle through if we want to see, the additional views all the way through trends. But let's just start off and, clone a report. Let's say, we want to add a new view. So we're going to go ahead and hit the clone button here. Let's say we're going to look at, my custom report. Description's optional, maybe in this case we'll just, copy that in there so we've got something. Let's say, my custom description and hit OK. Cool. And so what this is going to do is going to take a copy of our main report, and we'll see that on the list here just in a little bit when we go back. But now this is our own version of this report, and this is also tenant based. So if I make the report here and somebody else in my tenant, they'll be able to see it. Which is great, right? To kind of share that new report, new views of the data. So here we are in our custom report. What we're going to do here up top is we're going to click on this edit button, which is going to now bring us into the edit mode for Power BI. And this is give us, full privileges within that. So if we want to do something simple like, hey, I just want to kind of change the table around, or hey, maybe I just wanted to do something simple like validate row level security. Make sure that I've got the proper institution code coming through for this particular user. We can do that there. We can also do things like, add a new page. We'll rename this to, maybe this is going to be a different type of trend. So let's do that. And then we can come in and, start to create some new visuals. We'll just do a quick one for the purposes of this. So let's just say we'll grab like the dates here. So we want to see maybe the year and the month, and then we'll just grab a metric here. So we'll just look at our volume metrics. Let's just look at net volume, and then we can turn that into a visual and do our drill there, and there we go. So now we've got our trend over time. We've got our visual that we want dialed in, and then when we're ready, we can save it here. And we can also rename it later, right? Or any of the other tabs, right? Maybe I just want this one to be called, merchants. And so there we go. We've rename that tab, save it out, and then go back to view mode. And there we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at saved views. So let's go to our transaction details. And let's say there's some type of actionable information that we want to have, easily available, right? We don't want to have to come in and apply these filters every single time. I mean, that can be kind of painful. So let's just say, hey, we're looking at some maybe 2025 checking transactions, and, just add some more filters here. Maybe we're looking at debits, and let's say we want to do like a stuff that was declined. All right, so this is the view of the data that we want to see and, follow up on. So what we're going to do up top here is we're going to go to our saved views. I am logged in as an admin, so you're going to see this thing called Make Global FAQ. We'll talk about that in a follow-up video. But we now have some saved views readily available. And so let's create a new one. We're going to call this our 2025 follow-up items, from last year. So let's put that in there. We'll go ahead and save this view. And now, if we go to our saved views, we now see that one there. And what that's going to do is, let's just give an example here. We're going to clear everything out. So let's clear out all these filters and go to a different page. And when we come back in next time, we can go to the saved views at any point in time and go ahead and hit apply. And it's going to take us directly to that tab and apply those filters for us, making it super easy to get to that information the next time you're looking for it. Now, if this is something that we wanted to do all the time and we didn't even want to have to come in and apply that view, we can favorite that view. So let's go here and we're just going to click that star. That's going to save that as our default view. And so what that means is if we go back out to our reports tab and we go back in and we click on our custom report here, it's going to automatically apply that view and go to that page for us because we favorited it. So that's pretty nice. That's going to just save a lot of time. If there's a particular view of information that you're looking for every single time, you don't want to have to go to that page or reapply those filters. This is going to hit the spot for that. Now what's cool is we can actually take this a step further. And let's just kind of imagine that maybe this is something that we need to share with some other teammates and kind of work together to resolve whatever the situation may be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of take that concept of save views and enhance it. So we're going to click on threads up here. And we're going to start a new thread. So we'll go over here, we're going to start a new thread, and let's call this our 2025 action item follow-up. And what we're going to do is this button right here, include report context, we're going to check mark that because what we want to make sure that we do when we share this with some other users is they see the exact same thing that we're seeing here that we can all kind of share and follow up on. So we're going to go ahead and hit create, and we're going to start this new thread. And what's nice is, as an example, again, we'll clear all these filters out just so we can see this in action. We're going to go ahead and click this filter, and that's going to go ahead and reapply that exact page and view, just like the saved views, so that we're all looking at the same piece of information. So now we have somebody that we want to maybe share this with to kind of follow up. So let's see if we can find somebody else on our team. In this case, Alex Morgan. And we're going to mention that, hey Alex, can we review and close out these items? Thanks. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's let Alex know that, hey, we've got something that we'd like him to take a look at, and we'll go ahead and shoot that off to him. Okay, so the message is out, and let's go see what it looks like from Alex's perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to log out of Sarah. We can see that she's an admin and she does not have a persona assigned. So go ahead and log out. Let's go ahead and log in under Alex. Sign back in. All right, so we just signed in under Alex, and we'll go to our notifications tab here, and we can see that we were mentioned in a comment. We could just mark that as red if we wanted to. For example, maybe one of these older threads that was resolved, we can just mark that as red. But let's say we want to follow up with this. We're just going to go ahead and click on it, and that's going to take us exactly to that comment. So here we are, we're going exactly to that report and right to that thread, and we can see here where Sarah left us that message. So from Alex's perspective, I might not exactly know what Sarah was referring to, but all we got to do is hit the filter icon here, and that's going to take us to the exact page and the filters that Sarah wanted us to take a look at. So cool, we've got the list here from a Power BI perspective. We could export that data out if we wanted to, to Excel or something like that to follow up with it. But let's say, hey, cool, we're good to go. Or maybe not, right? Maybe there's a follow-up that we want to do here, and we're going to say, you know what? It's not the declined ones that were the issue, it's the pending ones. So we'll reply back and we'll say, hey, Sarah, everything looks good. Can you finalize these pending transactions? And then we can close. And, close there. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to include the report context. So we want to make sure that, Sarah, when we follow up and, we continue this conversation, she's seeing the exact same thing that, we're seeing here from Alex's perspective. So again, we're just going to click that right there, and then we're going to hit reply. And now that's going to send that back over to Sarah. So let's swing back to her point of view, and we can see that Alex is a consultant with the executive persona. So So I'm going to swing back out. Awesome. Head back in as Sarah. Okay, we're back in as Sarah, and we're going to go ahead and click on the bell notification. We can see that we were mentioned. Great, let's click on that. That's going to take us right back to that report with that context and that comment and thread. We can see that Alex wanted us to follow up on something. So let's see what he wanted us to do. We're going to click that, and we can see that the status just changed to pending. And cool, let's say that, hey, we've done everything we need to do. We're ready to close this out. So we're going to say, okay, great. Okay, looks good. Let's close this out. And let's reply back to Alice. We'll give him the thumbs up that, hey, we got it. We closed it out. We're good to go. We'll reply back that, we're good. And the last action that we're going to take, we'll just go ahead and close this thread. And so now if we go back to our thread view, we can see these are the open discussions that are happening. And we can see that this is our recently closed action item right here. And this doesn't mean that it's finished. If for some reason we need to go back and reopen it, we can reopen the thread. And if it was a thread that didn't really have anything useful, at some point we could delete it as well, if we need to. Okay, let's go ahead and swing back to our reports page. And let's go ahead and take a look at one of our SQL reports. So again, that's going to be our dynamic reports. And in this case, let's go ahead and take a look at healthcare. All right, here we are on the healthcare encounter details report. This is a SQL report. So one of the challenges that we can have with Power BI is file size limitation, right? So Excel is only going to export to 150,000 rows. CSV, I think, is like 30,000 rows. And you might want to have a million rows, right? Or maybe a million plus as a CSV. And Power BI is not going to, be able to handle that for us. Something else too that will come up, quite a bit as well is the ability for customers to say, hey, look, I want to see the fields that I want, right? Maybe there's 4 or 5 fields that I want. Maybe there's a particular order that I want to see those in. And so that's what this report builder is here to, to solve. So this is powered by SQL behind the scenes. And these are all driven by config tables and things like that, as far as the fields that are seen. So how does it work? First things first, this is the list of fields. So if we didn't want to see certain fields, we can just click on them and that will remove them. If we want to add them back, we can do that here. One of the really nice things is that we can change the order around. So if I want this encounter type to be first, then maybe the diagnosis description, we can do that. We can also sort by different fields if we want to, and also apply filters. So a good subscription-based filter might be something like, last 7 days, last month. There's a whole bunch of time intelligence, types of filters that can be added here. For the purposes of the demo, I just added about 5. So let's just say, hey, I wanted to see something, in the last week, last 7 days. We're going to go ahead and hit true. That's going to update our report here. Another nice thing that we've added here is, let's just say we wanted to, customer might just want something simple like, hey, I just want to know what all the possible diagnosis descriptions are. If you go down to just one field and then run the preview, that's going to give you a unique list of all the possible values. So if someone might just say, hey, I want to see just unique diagnoses, unique suppliers, unique customers, something like that, cool. Grab one field and by default it's going to give you the unique or the distinct values from that so you can get that information. All right, so let's go ahead, let's add a few more fields back to this just to kind of get us going. Run that preview again. Here we go. Let's put the encounter date first. Awesome, so we got a few fields here. And let's go ahead and say, hey, this is some information that we want. Maybe we want to add another filter here. So let's look at our the different diagnoses that we have. And these are cascading filters. So it is going to just show you the information that's relevant based on the selections that you've already made from before. Cool. So awesome. We've got the information dialed in that we want. And from here, let's go ahead and create an export of this data. That name's fine for now. Let's say we want to see it as an Excel file. These are the fields that we want. This is also another place where before you commit to the subscription, if you want to add more stuff, you can. So let's say, hey, you know what? We actually wanted encounter type as well. And we wanted that to be the very first field. Cool. And just to make sure that that's exactly the way I want it, let's just see the sample data. Okay, great. That's the order. Those are the fields that I want. Looks good. From here, we can make a reoccurring subscription. So maybe you've got a few times a day that you want to run it. Could be weekly, weekdays, could be, monthly. For the purposes of now, I'm just going to do a kind of a one-time, but fully supports subscriptions. This is a Azure function app that'll run, maybe every 5 minutes and kind of look to pick these up as far as the recurring schedule goes. For now, we're just going to go ahead and select one time and create the export. This is now going to take us over to our scheduled exports page where we can see the status of all of our other subscriptions. These are also tenant based, so other customers within the same tenant can see these reports. Great, our report completed. We can see that it just ran and it was a success. So cool, let's go ahead and download that report. All right, and there it is. And let's just click on it and we will open the file. And this is just to kind of show us, hey, there we go. That's our file, looks good. Those are the fields that we wanted. That was the data that we're looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and close that out. Some of the other things that we can do is we can run these subscriptions on demand. So if we didn't want to have to wait, we can go ahead and do that now. We can also look at, what was the overall subscription information, fields. This applied filters view lets you just see, hey, how many filters do I have on this subscription in case anyone else was curious. And for all of these, we can always preview the data for a particular subscription. Just again, hey, what are the fields I'm expecting back? What's the order? Things like that. So just some quality of life, additions to kind of help with the subscriptions. Okay, and last but not least, we're just going to do a quick high-level review of the usage insights. This is for tenant admins. This is going to give them the ability to quickly look at their tenant and just kind of look at, overall report usage, engagement, some of those kind of key metrics. So looking at, things like number of unique users, sessions, how many reports are we looking at, how long are users on those reports. Breaks it down by, both the Power BI and our SQL Dynamic Reports. Also, allows us to look at things, from the SQL perspective, hey, what are the, top filters that, customers are using, or what are the top pages they're going to within Power BI, what type of views are they creating, how's our performance, and then also just at a high level, kind of looking at our scheduled export, how many are being created, completed, failed, and how many customers, or how many downloads have occurred from there. All right, well, that's our demo for today. We're going to be releasing some more videos in the future to kind of cover some of the other admin screens, like creating some users, editing them, also looking at, kind of some of the onboarding, diagnostics and some of those other screens. So, more to come on that. Also, if you liked what you saw today, you kind of want to know more, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the description below. And we'll see you next time.